Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Christine Robinson, Mayor of West Grey, and welcome to our October 20th, 2020 West Grey Council meeting. We are using audio only to conduct this electronic meeting. Video is not possible at this time due to limited bandwidth in some areas of West Grey. Bandwidth is challenging our ability to do a complete video broadcast. So for now, we'll be sharing today's agenda and presentations on screen in addition to the audio. So on item 1, call to order, all members of council are present. We have a quorum. The agenda has been circulated. The meeting is being recorded and will be posted on our West Grey website, which is www.westgrey.com. The technology for this meeting is being managed by staff. So before we continue, I would ask Supervisor Hewlett to provide an overview of some of the other key points for this evening's meeting. Supervisor Hewlett, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. Before I begin, if you get disconnected at any time during this meeting, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter the meeting ID 8212-407-7874. Both members of council and staff have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software and will be using the raise their hand function to speak. Members of council will be using the green check mark to vote in favor and the red X button to vote against. Each member of council following a vote will then be called upon verbally to confirm their vote for the benefit of any guests who have called in rather than joining us using the software. If you have any technical issues throughout the meeting, please send a chat message to myself, Cody Hewlett, Recreation Supervisor, and I will attempt to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hewlett. On item 2, moment of reflection. Members of council, if you would take a quiet moment. Also, those citizens listening in, please take a quiet moment at this time. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're now moving on to item 3, which is declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Members of council, is there anything to declare? Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Yes, Councillor Hutchinson here. I will have a conflict of interest on item 10.1.2 of this meeting. It's regarding Can-Do Homes wishing to purchase closed road allowance behind their shop and industrial park. Reason being, my daughter is having a house built by Can-Do Homes sometime in the near future, hopefully. So I won't be commenting or voting on that issue if it comes to a vote this evening.
Thank you very much for the information.
Yeah.
It's been so noted by our clerk, and that will be reflected in the minutes as well. There is a form to complete. And,
right. I have sent the form into the clerk today, so she has a copy.
And I can confirm it's right here. So thank you very much for submitting that. Appreciate that. Other members of council, are there any declarations? Seeing none. On to item 4, which is delegation presentation 4.1, Grey County Initiative Update, Warden McQueen, Grey County. So before I introduce Warden McQueen, Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship. The recommendation is that Council receive the delegation of Warden McQueen, County of Grey, regarding the Grey County Initiative Update.
Is there a mover for this motion? Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you moving this motion?
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. This is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. I will move the motion.
Councillor Hergert, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Thank you very much. We'll take the vote after, as you know. Thank you very much, Warden McQueen, for accepting my invitation on behalf of West Grey Council to appear virtually, that is, as a delegation to provide a Grey County update on all of the initiatives. We've been anticipating your attendance at our council meeting, and certainly we've had directors from Grey County, various departments, for many times attending our council meeting, providing updates. And this is very special that you are here this evening. So with that, I would say, please take it away, Warden McQueen.
Well, thank you, Mayor Robinson and Mayor or Deputy Mayor Hutchison and Councillor Herbert, Hamilton, Hutchison, Shea, and Townsend. And I bring greetings on behalf of Grey County, and it's a privilege to, I want to tell your council, it's a privilege to work with both your mayor and deputy mayor at the county. And I think we certainly move the bar forward as far as Grey County goes. Certainly COVID-19 has been an interesting and a different year as being warden, but as Grey County Council, similar to your own, we move forward with electronic format of meetings, and we are getting the business done as expected from our ratepayers. I want to thank you for inviting myself and my lovely wife to your social enterprise event there a few weeks back, to the drive-in showing of, I'm trying to think what it was, but it was a social enterprise event. And thanks for the hospitality and the great popcorn. That was certainly a big bag. I tell you, that was good. Were you cooking that, Mayor Robinson, or?
No, I believe that was our recreation supervisor and our council assistant, but thank you for mentioning that.
Well, please pass it on. It was quite an enjoyable evening. I learned a lot and certainly enjoyed the popcorn. To start off with, there's a few items I wish to address to your council this evening of some things that are happening within Grey County, and more specifically West Grey. And I understand you did a report maybe a few weeks back. This is repetitious, but I will report of what I have on today. With regards to the first item is the redevelopment of Rockwood Terrace and the lands in Durham. The project continues to progress as we work with the Ministry of Long-Term Care to confirm the operating license for the new home and to receive the construction funding for the project. It's a 32 acres of land was acquired this summer. I'm sure as you're aware, adjacent to the current property, to the current site right now is Rockwood Terrace. There is sufficient lands to rebuild and opportunities for housing for that area. The current property zoning includes a hold designation. Report will be coming to West Grey Council, as I understand, in November from the County Planning Department to discuss the overall vision for the property and to have the hold lifted. For now, we are looking to enhance security around the property and putting up signage and improving the fencing. Drone footage has been collected to assist in requiring studies, which includes a D6 study to assess any compatibility considerations with the adjacent pit and stormwater management plan. A housing option study is coming tomorrow for approval at the County Council. Consultants SHS and architects Salter Pylon will work together to engage the stakeholders and develop options on the most appropriate housing for the site. This part of the project will take about 6 months, and we expect a report spring of 2021. And I think we're all looking forward to 2021. Grey County planning report originally planned for November, but will be provided to West Grey Council at the same time. As far as the home itself, and with regards to COVID-19, well, our 3 homes in Grey County, homes are adequately stocked with PPEs, which is quite important. Visitor restrictions remain in place. Visitors must pre-schedule using an online booking tool from the homepage on www.grey.ca. Options include virtual visits, outdoor visits, indoor visits, and compassionate visits, typically end of life. Short-term absences are currently suspended due to the COVID-19 numbers. They will be reintroduced when it is safe to do so. Certainly for medical appointments will still continue. We continue to keep family members informed throughout our electronic newsletters and regular Zoom meetings. As far as transportation, with regards to the Grey Road 4 in Durham, as we know, the the project carried over from 2019 is now completed. That project stretched from Chester Street West to Garifaxa Street and Highway 6. For 2021, we're looking at structure replacements. We will be replacing a culvert 1.1 kilometers on Grey Road 9, 1 kilometer west of Grey Road 3. And we will be replacing a bridge also on Grey Road 9, 3.6 kilometers east of Ayton on Grey Road 3. For the 2021 winter maintenance, salt and sand supplies have arrived. Annual meetings with the local police and other county transportation services have happened to ensure a smooth season for reporting issues. Our website, roads.grey.ca, is the best place to go for the most recent updates on road conditions and closures. So let's hope that snow stuff stays away for a little longer yet. As far as climate change action plan, Grey County has partnered with ICLEI Canada to develop a climate change action plan for the county and the community. Some goals include reducing corporate greenhouse gas emissions, reducing waste, and increasing our energy efficiency. We hope to identify and address our impacts on climate change internally and to demonstrate the county is walking the talk with climate change. The draft plan is expected in January of 2021. With regards to a conference, virtual conference coming up, the Grey Bruce Healthy Communities Partnership, a health unit initiative supported by Grey and Bruce, is having a virtual climate change conference on October 28th, 2020. If you haven't heard about it, there's still time to register. Registration closes October 23rd. Search for 2020 Grey Bruce Virtual Climate Change Conference on everbright.com or see the Grey County's Facebook page for the link. As far as economic development, support local campaign, COVID has had a detrimental impact on a number of our Grey County businesses. Through economic development and communications, we are focusing all of our marketing and promotions at a Shop Local campaign, which will continue throughout the fall and into the holiday season. Expect to see ads online, hear promos on the radio. The December edition of Made in Grey magazine will be distributed to homes and businesses around the county and will be dedicated exclusively to promote our downtowns and small businesses. Rural broadband and SWIFT, we recently closed our third business impact survey, asking businesses to share their challenges with us. Rural broadband was one of the highlighted concerns, even higher than the source PPE and other supports. SWIFT's call for proposals for our area closed in July. Proposals were submitted to complete a $16 million worth of projects to improve access. The full survey results will be shared at our Western Ontario Wardens Caucus for further advocacy. And just in general, before COVID-19, Grey County remains in a state of emergency. Our next emergency control meeting is tomorrow. Mayors of the 9 local municipalities and local control group staff have been invited. Grey County Administration Building has been reopened to the public by appointment only since September. The transition has gone well, and we are not aware of any major impacts to services. We continue to operate in this fashion until COVID-19 numbers improve and we feel safe to reopen fully. And Madam Mayor, that is my report. I don't know if you have any questions from councilors or yourself. Happy to try to answer them as best I can. And thank you for this opportunity to speak to your council.
Well done. Oh, well done, Warden McQueen. We very much appreciate your attendance at our meeting. That was a rather detailed report on what's going on in Grey County in general and also in West Grey. I'm looking to my colleagues on council. Do you have any questions of Warden McQueen at this time? Councillor Townsend.
Yes, it's Councillor Townsend. Thank you very much for the report, Warden McQueen. Very informative, and it's good to get caught up on what's happening in the county and where the focus is. You talked about the impact on small business, and I've had quite a few small business companies contact me to find out how they can get help. And today I heard that there was an announcement at the federal level about grants, not just loans, of up to $5,000. I wonder, do you have any more detail on that?
I don't. I was pretty much in meetings all day, but certainly I would suggest that any businesses that would follow up or have any questions on it, to follow up with our economic development staff at the county. Certainly, it's something that needs to be supported, and it's great to hear that there's something out there that possibly will support those businesses. I know our economic development staff have worked very hard trying to get talking to them and seeing what best we can do as a collective group in the sense of supporting those businesses. And that's why we do have that campaign about Shop Local campaign that will be coming out, but certainly any support in the sense of grants will be certainly well welcomed with regards to federal or even provincial money. I don't know. Where did you hear it, or did you just catch it on through social media, or where did that pop up?
It actually came off of a CP24 report
Yes.
when the Prime Minister spoke earlier today. And I
Okay.
just happened to be at a break from the conference I was at, and that I just caught the headline, but I didn't hear the details.
Well, Councillor Townsend, that sounds like great information and great news, and I'll certainly convey that to our economic development staff. I'm sure if it was on there, I'm sure it'll with today's with today's social media and everything else, stuff like that travels pretty fast for sure.
I figured it wouldn't take long. That's why I thought you might have more detail, but that's okay. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, and certainly I want to also mention that any of your council wishes to reach me directly, certainly Paul.McQueen at grey.ca is I'm certainly available if you have any questions that maybe comes to mind afterwards. But as your warden, I'm certainly quite available.
That's great. Councillor Hergert, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you very much, Warden McQueen, for the update. I do have a question. We have a resolution that's in our package tonight from Meaford discussing possibly the upper tier, being Grey County, taking over garbage collection, especially with the new regulations under the circular economy just coming out. Is that something that will be on the table at Grey County for discussion as to whether or not the upper tier, Grey County, would take over waste management for all of Grey County, utilizing our local opportunities, in particular the Chatsworth biodigester, but really looking for a green solution locally instead of transportation, transporting all garbage everywhere. Will that be something that comes up on an agenda?
So a number of years ago, it was a process that was put in place from Grey County that I had to dust it off, but I think it's if there's two or more municipalities wish to address an item in the county, then that brings it forward to county council. And certainly, obviously, Meaford has initiated the I guess you want to call it the inquiry or the interest in looking at that. And so certainly yourself and other councillors or sort of councils within Grey County, if they initiate that process, then that will come forward. I think the last time there was the same kind of format put in place that came forward to county council would have been looking at libraries at a county level.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think, that might have been 4 or 5 years ago, but that there is a process in place that does allow that to move toward the county council table. It's the early stages, and I guess it all depends on your agenda that you're looking at it later on tonight and others. It hasn't came to Grey Highlands Council table yet, but certainly it's just getting circulated from Meaford. So it's certainly something we could look at. I know it has been talked about, I think a few years back, maybe even before I was on county council, and but certainly, there's always that opportunity to look at efficiencies and best way. Simcoe County is an example of that. They do look at it, or they do manage the waste management from the county side. And I'm trying to think, is it Wellington County as well?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I think they maybe do, but I know Simcoe County does as well. So, you know what, there's a model out there that's, you know, certainly can be looked at and certainly have that discussion.
Thank you very much. I know if the province is changing the regulations, 9 municipalities have to get on board with the new regulations, or this could be an opportunity for one tier of government to look after all of that. So I do appreciate your time considering that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, there was just an announcement this week also with the Blue Box program that's moving toward the providers of waste
Producer,
to take over that. So that's going to be over a 3-year period, but certainly that is a different direction that we've had in the past.
We also
Thank
have
you,
a
Warren.
question. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We also have a question now from Councillor Shea.
It's Councillor Shea. Hi, Warden McQueen. Thanks for joining us today. We are very excited to see that there's a new bus service being instituted along the County Road 4 corridor from Flesherton to Walkerton. And I sit on the local accessibility advisory committee, and there was some concern at that committee as to whether that bus service was going to be accessible to wheelchair users. Do you have any information about that?
Well, that's a really good question. And so a few weeks back, I'm going to say a week ago Monday, myself, your mayor, the mayor of Hanover, and the mayor of Brockton, we rode that bus across there. And I'm trying to think on that bus if that was, I'm pretty sure it was, but Mayor Robinson, do you recall seeing if it was accessible? Maybe not that particular one. I'm not sure, because you have to book ahead of time. But Mayor Robinson, do you recall on that bus if it was wheelchair accessible?
Warden McQueen, I believe that one was not, but
Yeah.
I understand also, yeah, there's certain, you certainly have to book to ride that bus. And I believe Stephanie Stewart was, who's the transportation manager, was also going to look at the possibility and the options associated with accessibility buses.
So my thinking is to Councillor Shea is I know that the company it's getting up and running, but I think currently right now I would suggest that probably because it's being booked, and if you're booking it because of that, I'm sure one of their buses in their fleet would have that. But I can follow up on that. That's a really good point, because we are moving forward to, like, this is 2020, and accessibility is certainly front, out there, and what we need to be providing. So that's a really good question that I can take back to Stephanie and that. But I know that it's an exciting opportunity to move people around in our county, because we have not only Grey Road 4, but we also have the Highway 10 corridor, the Highway 26 from Owen Sound to Blue Mountains, and then also Owen Sound to Wyerton. So there are a number of opportunities to move around throughout our county, and for those that need that service, it's going to be with us for a while, and we hope that people really take advantage of it. And I think currently right now the buses are, and this could be also part of it, it's sort of seeing how it goes. And we were told that the current buses will hold 10, but if the ridership greatly improves, they can upgrade their buses to larger buses, or look at that if the ridership is certainly at that point where it's a lot of people are using it. And but that's certainly a great comment on accessibility, and we'll follow up with that.
Okay, well, thank you for offering to follow up.
Very good. Councillor Townsend again.
Thank you, Councillor Townsend. In the agenda, there's a correspondence under section 10.2, and it's 10.2.2, which is the Grey County Report on Accessibility. And in that report, it basically says that for those areas of Grey County that do have transportation, they have to provide the accessible buses. So that's actually in our package. So I'm pretty sure that it does say that. And since the county does have it, I'm assuming that you're going to provide it. So since it's your report.
Yeah,
and Dwight Burley on that report from Stephanie Stewart. Just waiting on that report.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I was referring to, just to try to clarify sooner than have you have to come back.
Right. And I know that Dwight Burley has been the chair of the accessibility committee, and he's been on that for quite a few years. And we've had an accessibility committee, I'm going to say, I think almost ever since I've been on county council since 2010. So it would certainly be a highlight. So thanks for raising that.
Very good. Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, Councillor Hutchinson here. Thank you, Warden McQueen, for your input and your information. I just find a little bit curious these days that we're starting up 2 new bus routes given the pandemic situation, and a lot of cities are struggling with their transportation system because of lack of ridership. So I hope that we keep that in mind going forward. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's going to be some funding behind what we're doing here, but the next 6 months are going to be a difficult time to keep some of these services on the road, especially when I think of the Won't Sound to Guelph route, which used to run once a week on Sundays, and they canceled it when Greyhound had it. So now we're running it twice a day. So I think it's going to be a challenge, but I just wanted to put that out there that, it is a difficult time to start this up, but hopefully it goes forward.
So thank you for that question, Councillor Hutchison. And the 4 routes that I mentioned are initiative through a grant that we received through the county over 2 years. And it's one of those things that, we have the funding currently, and that's what I'm saying is it's hopefully as we move forward that ridership does improve, and it's sort of that early days because we have the funding to get it up and running, and hopefully people will continue to use that once it gets in place. The one I understand that goes from Owen Sound to Guelph is initiated from Owen Sound itself, so that's not necessarily a Grey County route, but an Owen Sound to Guelph connection, and so I can't speak to it too much, but certainly I know what you're saying about the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds were very much used for a long time, and certainly I think they've been gone for I don't know how many years now, but quite a few. So yeah, let's hope that people and it's going to be important because, as I understand, and I had this question late last week, that there will be some campaign and paper flyers coming out with regards to promoting it more and that type of thing, because people need to know about it. And you certainly can't miss it. They're orange. So I see them around, and so it just takes a little time and booking and that type of thing. And then also we will be tweaking out the scheduling as well, because and I think they're even working on that even now, because we got to find the right times that work for everyone as well. Right.
Right. Yeah, just the challenge will be that because of COVID, that people aren't traveling the same. And if we, a year down the road, we start looking back and look at our data to say, what was our ridership? Well, it's not really maybe a true picture. So hopefully the funding won't penalize us because of the situation.
I'm pretty sure the funding goes out as far as 18 months to 2 years. So,
yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And ride the bus. Try it out.
Definitely try it out. It's a very smooth ride for sure. Members of council, are there any other questions for Warden McQueen? Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. This is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, and thank you very much, Warden McQueen, for joining us and sharing all that those updates from the county. This morning in our economic development meeting, we actually had a pretty good conversation around affordable and attainable housing and some things that are changing. I just wondered what we have you with us, if you could share some of those highlights, because it's certainly a hot topic throughout Grey County, of course in West Grey. I was wondering if you just speak a little bit what we discussed this morning on that, please. Thank you.
So thanks for raising that, and certainly one of the things that we sort of up and running during this term of being warden was 2 things: was attainable or affordable housing, and also a climate change advisory or a task force. And that one with regards to the housing. We know housing is a very concerning item throughout Grey County, especially with the rising cost of homes. We see it. It just seems to be. I think was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? The average price now of Grey Bruce has hit that $500,000 level for a detachable home, and I think it's up like 20% in 1 year, and so it's a very important part of looking at where we can try to leverage or maybe put some effort into the less fortunate in the sense of finding housing, and I know there's going to be a few reports come forward from that committee to County Council to look at, are there ways that can County Council look at creating housing stock. The Odawa, I have a hard time saying that, development that got funding. I think it was close to $6 million there. Oh gosh, it was about January, and that's a development that is sort of a real, I guess, example of a type of development that sort of has. And they talk about what is affordable housing. It's basically 30% of your income is got to go toward housing, whether for renting or however. So that's how they determine affordable housing. But in that development, part of that is geared to income, rent, and some of it is higher than that, and some of it sort of at the end of the day it sort of offsets the subsidizing of other rent. So that's a great model that's worked very well, and at the Odawa development in Owen Sound, it's sort of that it's at that next second or third phase, and it's made up of a corporation of a number of stakeholders that sit on that, and Mayor Lovett is, and I think past Mayor Lovett and past Warden Barfoot, they sit on that as board of directors. Moving on from that, there will be again some reports coming to County Council with regards to is there an appetite from County Council to continue to fund or subsidize or look at the less fortunate, in the sense of I understand through Anne Marie Shaw, there's quite a list of people waiting for social housing or affordable housing, and on that sense. But there's also I mean, that whole discussion is very broad based, and we have talked a little bit about tiny homes and that type of development. Certainly, that's looking at and as they spoke about it this morning, as you're in that meeting, Tom, about basically smaller homes, could cost less, and we got to look at that also that cohort with regards to the millennial group that are first time buyers and that are looking to invest in our community, and as we all know, we all went through it. Sometimes that first starter home is your first ability to get started in life and to build your equity. One other comment I do want to make is also we always work with developers and trying to create opportunities for them to create retainable or affordable housing, and that's also going to be important of how we redevelop that lands, and just more specifically in West Grey on that 32 acres outside of the redevelopment for Rockwood Terrace, and can we look at some housing opportunities there, and certainly that is something is going to be a big focus from County Council itself, and can we look at some opportunities to partner with developers and create those opportunities. Just as a small point, we have a developer right now working in that's putting houses in Markdale, and what they're doing is creating accesses or a separate access to the basement. And something that also, that's right, we talked about this morning is secondary units. I'm not sure if West Grey has that incorporated into their official plan. I know the county does, and I know others in Grey County do, but part of the changes to the DC Charge Act that's coming out is to remove DC charges on secondary units. So secondary units could be in three forms. It could be a basement apartment, it could be a room above a garage, or it could be a detached smaller home to the original home. And it is something that the province has put in place for a number of years that creates that opportunity for maybe first-time buyers, rentals, or maybe senior development itself. So it's one more tool that is in place. And again, I'm not sure if West Grey has that in their official plan, but the removal of development charges from the county just gives it one opportunity or one extra opportunity to create those type of homes. So I hope that's sort of touch base. We're still working through our task force on affordable homes. So we're not quite, there will be some reports coming back to county council. And again, that's part of what that group is doing, is to bring recommendations to council. So stay tuned for those reports. Hope that helps.
That was.
Did I miss anything, Tom, or?
Very good. We do have a question, Warden, from Councillor Hamilton.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. It's really good to have you here, and I won't keep you much longer. I appreciate all the information that you've shared with us, and you can
No
tell
problem.
how excited we are to hear about all the projects happening at Grey County. I'm thinking about affordable housing and also the importance of accessible housing as we're developing our affordable builds. So I'm hoping accessibility will be part of the lens that Grey County is looking through as they're building attainable and affordable housing. And certainly around our West Grey Council table, we affordable, attainable housing comes up time and time again. So you have a strong partner here in West Grey and wanting to see that come to fruition in our community. And so I just wanted to touch base about, I think you mentioned there'll be a housing study in development. And would that be, is it through the housing study that West Grey can participate in the discussion, or perhaps you could elaborate more on that, Warden? Thank you.
So there will be a housing, what they call a housing option study. This is a report coming to our council this Thursday to move forward. And part of that, and your Mayor Robinson sits on that committee that we talked about this. That's the long-term care committee, and so they would support it. I'm going to say a meeting or two ago, and so it's coming this Thursday to council then. And what that is like I mentioned before, consultants SHS and architect Salter Pylon will be working with all stakeholders. So I would say that when that, it's like, I can't see a reason why it wouldn't get approved tomorrow to move forward. But when that moves forward, there will be stakeholder engagement sessions, and certainly I would encourage everyone, including yourselves, to get involved and look at what they are proposing. Well, I guess first they're going to be collecting information from the community and certainly highlight that part of what accessibility, because that's so important for especially a vulnerable sector that are out there. And so certainly engage, be very engaging, and tell your ratepayers of West Grey and surrounding area to and maybe I guess you could probably publish that through your website and post those dates that will be coming up. So
wonderful. Thank you. I look forward to that opportunity to participate and learn more. And I'm also hopeful that the study will be viewed through a climate action lens, because I know Grey County's moving forward with their climate action plan, and any future development that we do in our communities will be also viewed through the lens of climate change. Thank you so much, Warden.
Well, you're quite welcome. And that report is expected to come in the spring of 2021. So it's
thank you.
Things keep moving forward, even with COVID-19. We keep things going. This is so important.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah, I was the mover, the motion to have that item brought forward through long-term care. And I'm just looking at the agenda right now on my iPhone. But I would just encourage members of council to take a look at tomorrow's Grey County Committee of the Whole agenda, and you'll see that recommendation coming forward for consideration. Before I say thank you very much, Warden, for coming out, I see that we have one final question from Councillor Shea.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, it's Councillor Shea. I promise my final question. You mentioned that you were interested in working with and supporting developers who were interested in approaching affordable housing solutions, or smaller homes or tiny homes. Is that an ad hoc relationship? We have some developers in our community who have expressed an interest in this. Is there a way we should be hooking them up with the county, or is that an established process?
Well, I would say, yes, speak to, well, our director of planning is Randy Switzer. I would say him and Scott, certainly, you know, I would, because they're very, even just speaking this morning, as Deputy Mayor Hutchison was saying, they're very engaged in that type of conversation. And, you know, it's always tough, you know, when you got a developer building something to say, hey, you got to build homes at 30% of the cost of, or, you know, reduced price compared to what you can sell it. So you got to create opportunities for them. And what I was saying here, in just as an example, in Markdale, the one developer, Devonley Homes, is building homes with the basement access to them. So if that homeowner wishes to convert that into a rental apartment, they can't. It's so easy to put that for the little bit of cost of building that separate access. So then if they do create it as a rental, then basically they only have to do a few changes, and bing, bang, boom, the homeowner can have a rental that also turns into that ability to have affordable home or affordable housing or a rental or however, right? And so that's one aspect to that. But certainly I would encourage them to engage with the planners, because they also come back to our committee that's working on that as well. And so, you know, inventive ways. Now, we did talk, I mentioned a wee bit about tiny homes. It's a little bigger, or a little, it has a little bit more traction more into United States, and probably more into the, you know, the areas where they don't get a long winter, and because there's always the issue around heating and looking after it, but then they got air conditioning issues as well. But it just hasn't taken off as quickly up here. But you know what, I think from what keeps driving the cost of real estate, I think you're going to find new inventive ways of creating housing. I mean, you look down in the city, they talk about or other areas, what do they call those, container housing and other like laneway housing and different ways, because you know housing stock is an issue all across the province and even across Canada. So it is something that we have to look outside the box and create opportunities, and that with the secondary units is just that one tool that the province has provided that can create incentive for landowners, and also, but from accessibility, that is also as important as well. And you know, I think there's also that part of developers is, you know, there's that, it goes back to that social enterprise part, right? And you know, about companies doing the right thing. And so I think when you engage those developers, I think it's good that we as municipality or councillors, municipal councillors, talk to them about that social enterprise, and what can you as a developer, can you do that type of thing as a good gesture, right? So there's one other side of that social enterprise.
Well, very good. I have to say, Warden McQueen, this has been one of the most engaging and interesting delegations we've had, and we will certainly invite you back for an additional an update. But thank you very much for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule and speaking with West Grey Council and citizens that are listening in. So please come again. And with that, I would ask Clerk Scharbeck, could you please reread the motion, and I will call the vote then.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Your Worship, the motion moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hergert, is the council receive the delegation of Warden McQueen, County of Grey County Initiative Update.
Thank you. All members of council, if you are in favor of this motion, please signify with the check mark. Those opposed, signify with the next mark. As I call your name, please state your name and also state how you are voting. To begin, Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of the motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Counselor Hutchinson,
Counselor Hutchison in favor.
Motion carried. Thank you again, Warden. I will virtually see you on Thursday. Okay, members of council, we are now moving on to item 5, which is closed session NA. Item 6, matters arising from closed session NA for this particular agenda. Item 7, public meetings NA. On item 8, comment period, Supervisor Hewlett, do we have any individuals that have provided questions either in writing, through the telephone, or through our virtual meeting? Could you take it away from here, please?
thank you, Mayor Robinson. For this portion of the meeting, members of the public were invited to submit their comments or questions in advance. We did receive a written submission, I believe, from Lee Papineau. At that, I can read at your request.
Yes, please.
So this was asked to bring forward at the October 20th council meeting. The email states as verbatim, what action is West Grey taking towards making public a comprehensive plan for waste management that will address public concerns such as 1, the limited time and lack of access to waste management sites. 2, the need to improve the recycling program to divert waste. 3, the lack of municipal composting programs. 4, increase lifespan of landfills. 5, increase the number of staff working in waste management. Thank you in advance for your cooperation of this request. Sincerely, Lee Papineau.
Thank you. And certainly, Mr. Lee Papineau is president of the Durham District Horticultural Society. And Lee Papineau, thank you very much for that question. What I'm going to suggest is we are having a report coming forward through our Director of Infrastructure and Public Works with regard to waste management. We also have a notice of motion on this evening. So what I would like to do is suggest that the questions contained in Mr. Papineau's question get bundled in with the report and be brought forward at that time. Also, having said that, we would provide notice to Lee Papineau that when the item is coming forward, and have the opportunity for him to read the report in advance. So thank you very much. And just a shout out to the Durham and District Horticultural Society overall. Thank you very much. Supervisor Hewlett, is there any other comments at this time?
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. At this time, I have not received any other comments.
Okay, thank you. Then we will move on to item 9, which is adoption of minutes. 9.1, October 6, 2020 Council. 9.2, August 6, 2020 Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority. 9.3, September 16, 2020 Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission. 9.4, September 20th, 2020 Commercial Beautification Committee. Those are contained in your agenda. Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Thank you, through you, your worship. The recommendation is that council adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 6, 2020 as circulated, and that council receives the August 6, 2020 Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority minutes, September 16, 2020 Saugeen Airport Commission minutes, and September 20th, 2020 Commercial Beautification Committee minutes for information.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Townsend, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Townsend, yes, I'm moving the motion.
Councillor Hamilton, are you seconding this motion?
Counselor Hamilton, I second the motion.
Thank you. Questions, members of council? Seeing none, then I will call the vote. All those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. To begin, Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson,
Sorry, Counselor Hutchison in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Shay,
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hergert,
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Motion carried. Thank you for clearing your dashboard, members of council. On item 10, miscellaneous correspondence, 10.1, items requiring action, of which there are two on this agenda. 10.1.1, request for financial assistance, Durham Figure Skating Club. How does council wish to proceed with this correspondence? Is it a receipt? Is it to go to budget? I see there's some action. I'll begin with Councillor Townsend and then I'll call upon Councillor Hergert. Councillor Townsend, please.
Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering, we had one come to us at our last meeting or the meeting before, and I'm just wondering if the clerk is able to provide an update on the status and the action we took at that point.
Well, let's inquire from the clerk. It's not on the agenda, so we may need some follow-up, Councillor Townsend, but let's see what our clerk has to say.
Thank you.
Clerk Sherbeck, oh, you're quite welcome.
Thank you for that question, Councillor Townsend, but I'm not sure which request you're referring to. It doesn't come to mind, sorry.
Okay, well, maybe we can follow that up and
Yes.
I would like to be consistent. So, to that point, perhaps we just put a motion forward to receive it with that commitment to follow up.
Okay, I will call upon you for a motion, perhaps. But we'll go forward now with Councillor Hergert, please.
Yes, Counselor Hergert. I would like to receive this at this point
Mhm.
and bring all of the requests for financial assistance forward at budget time. We do have this as a pillar to support community endeavors and groups. So we should take a look at it at budget time.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you for
So
that.
I'd make a motion for that.
Okay, I will put you as the mover to, I'll just summarize, receive the correspondence from the Durham Figure Skating Club and that the matter be put forward during budget deliberation. With that, because I have you as a mover, I would look for a seconder and then I would entertain any other questions or comments. I see as we go, a check mark means a mover or seconder. So Councillor Hamilton, would you second this motion?
Yes, Mayor Robinson, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you for that. Now I am going to go to Councillor Hutchinson for first question or comment, and then back to you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, Councillor Hutchison. I would have a concern if we were to give money at this time because we did cancel all our donations to organizations as part of getting our budget in line and because of the COVID situation. So, we can't really give it to them without giving to minor hockey, minor soccer, and so on. So the only other question though I had is they've asked about the PPE part of it. And is there do we have any source or any way of helping them out with that? Like whether we have a contact? I know Bruce Power was doing something with that, or if that would be under their umbrella, but can we help them out with the PPE end of it?
Yeah, I think what I'd suggest to that part of their request is refer that over to our Fire Chief, Chief Schwartz, who is managing the emergency from our perspective here at West Grey. And I know he's very much up to date on equipment. And so I think that's the request moved over to Chief Schwartz, I think would be appropriate.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Councillor Hamilton, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson, and Councillor Hutchison, you addressed my one question, so thank you for that. And my second question or thought, and I think this could be addressed at budget time, would be if if our community groups are seeking support because of the impacts of COVID, could we access some of the COVID funding for COVID specific community grants? I don't know that we want to do that. It's just a question I have about the parameters around the COVID funding. And I don't need an answer to that tonight either. I'm just wondering if maybe through the budget process, well, that will be revealed, won't it? But just a thought, Mayor Robinson, and I'll leave it like that. Thank you.
Yes, and it's a very good point, Councillor Hamilton. So noted, and I do know that staff are taking notes, and that that full discussion will come through during budget deliberations. So thank you for bringing that forward. Councillor Shea, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So last year at budget time, I believe we discussed trying to establish a more formalized, normalized application process for groups to apply to the municipality for funds. I think that it entered into the discussion sort of a little bit late, and so we weren't able to really act on that. So I would like to put forward a motion, if I could, that we ask staff to develop a community grant application form process in advance of this year's budget deliberations.
So I think that is absolutely amazing, and I will look forward to that motion as a separate motion to the one that we have on the floor right now, Councillor. So would you mind just holding on to that one, and I will look for a seconder after we deal with the first motion?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments with regard to the correspondence, which is the request for financial assistance, Durham Figure Skating Club? Clerk Sharbeck, are you okay just to read the motion that is before us? And thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Hergert and seconded by Councillor Hamilton that the correspondence from the Durham Skating Club be received at this time and brought forward with all requests for funding to budget deliberations.
Perfect. If there are no other questions, I would like to call the vote on this, and then we'll move forward to Councillor Shea's motion. All those in favor of the motion as read by the clerk, please signify with a check mark. Those opposed, signify with an X mark. As I call your name, please state your name and how you are voting. To begin, Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Councillor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Motion carried. Now, if you clear your dashboard, I am now going back to Councillor Shea. Could you please restate your motion, please?
Yes, and I'd like to confirm with the clerk that it's appropriate to introduce a motion like this at this point. If not, I would introduce it later at direct motions. But it seems relevant to the discussion that we're having. So I was moving that we ask staff to develop a grants to organization application process that would be fair and equitable to all organizations within West Grey in advance of our next cycle of budget deliberations.
Okay. I also write down the motion. Now, I've consulted with the clerk prior, and she did identify that this motion is appropriate at this time. But I will just double check with her. Clerk Sharbeck.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship. That's a good question, Councillor Shea. And I think it is a new item. It could be dealt with as a direct motion, but it is directly related to this request. And there has been previous requests for consideration of lesser fees or donation. And I think council will be receiving more. So I do think it's appropriate at this time. It is council's wish to allow it.
Okay.
But I think it suits the correspondence item.
Thank you for that. So with that, I'll look for a seconder, and I see, I see Councillor Townsend. Councillor Townsend, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Townsend, yes, I'd like to.
Okay, now with that, any questions on the motion before I call the vote? For questions, I look for hands up. I'm not seeing anything. All right, then I'll call the question on the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify with a check mark. Those opposed with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
Motion carried. We are now on item 10.1.2, request to purchase property, Can Do Homes. Councillor Hutchinson earlier in the meeting declared a conflict of interest. Members of council, how do you wish to deal with this item? Is this one where you are looking for a staff report? Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes, I would request a planning report regarding this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Hergert, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Are there any questions? Councillor Townsend.
Yes, Councillor Townsend. I'm just wondering, has staff had a chance to look at this and able to comment here? Or does it have to go through a proper planning report? So
I'm
I'll ask
going
a
to-
question of their clerk for procedure and planning if
Yeah.
they have anything. So
Thank you. And pardon me for starting my comment before you were finished speaking, Councillor.
that's okay.
Thank you. Clerk Sherbeck, please.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Townsend, for that question. We have certainly read the correspondence that came in, and there are a few pieces to consider that I think it's really important for a more fulsome report to come back to council to set out all the considerations in selling this property or starting with declaring it surplus. So there are other abutting property owners, and just some details I think it's important to have in a report.
Okay. Clerk Sherbeck, could you please read the motion?
Through you, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Hamilton and seconded by Councillor Hergert that staff be directed to bring back a report regarding this request.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion indicate with a check mark. Those opposed indicate with an X mark. To begin, Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
No comment.
Oh, pardon me. Actually, sorry, I do apologize, and sorry for that loud outburst. I have to identify that Councillor Hutchinson did declare a conflict of interest, and I pardon myself. I did not need to call you for that vote. So I am not calling you for the vote. Motion carried. Thank you. All right, we are now moving on to item 10.2, items for information. So we have 10.2.1, the Solicitor General. 10.2.2, Grey County Report, fulfilling municipal accessibility requirements. 10.2.3, Elmwood Fire Board, appointment of an interim fire chief. 10.2.4, Town of Wasaga Beach Resolution. 10.2.5, Municipality of Meaford Resolution, Countywide Waste Management Program. And 10.2.6, Township of Ashfeld Norwood, Office of the Mayor, Cannabis Enforcement. Clerk Scharbeck, would you please read the motion?
Through you, your worship, the recommendation is that all correspondence items not otherwise dealt with are hereby received.
Is there a mover for the motion? And with that, I'd also look that if there's any items to be separated out. Councillor Hergert.
Thank you very much, Mayor. 10.2.5, I would like pulled from the items for information, and I would like that to be discussed.
Okay. All right. On the same vein, are there any other items to be pulled for discussion? All right, at this time, Councillor Councillor Hamilton, are you moving this motion?
Yes, Mayor Robinson, Councillor Hamilton, I'll move the motion along with Councillor Hergert's suggestion to pull that document, please. Thank you.
Very good, and you're welcome. Is there a seconder for this motion? Oh, I'll go for the seconder, but wait. Councillor Hutchinson, is there an item that you wish to pull first? Please go ahead.
Sorry, Councilor Hudson. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the number. The one about the Brockton Fire Chief, was that one being pulled?
It wasn't, but you're pulling it, which is 10.2.3, correct?
Sorry, Elmwood Fire Chief.
Yeah.
Yes, I just would like to make have a question there, so I guess we need to pull it to answer the question.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Why don't you just ask the question now, and that will be fine. And the clerk has indicated that's an okay procedure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sir.
So my question is, it states in there that we're putting in a deputy fire chief or a temporary fire chief, but then it says that until a new fire chief is hired by Brockton. I'm curious, it's a combined board, but so why is Brockton the only one that's doing the hiring?
Yeah, I'm just going to that correspondence first, and
Page 47 on our agenda.
7. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. I'm just. Okay. You know what? As I'm reading the correspondence, which I've done already, but I want to review it. Director Mighton, I know you serve on the Elmwood Fire Board. We also have Councillor Hergert and Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, who are part of that board. But Director Mighton, can you just address the issue in terms of Councillor Hutchinson's question, please?
Yes, according to the agreement with the joint agreement, the fire board uses the Brockton Fire Chief as the and on a contract basis for the Elmwood Fire Board. So they also have that person is also the fire chief for another department within Brockton, but we contract the Brockton chief as the Elmwood Joint Fire Board.
Okay,
so the fire chief for Brockton is the same fire chief for Elmwood, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it's just a contract position for the Elmwood Joint Fire Board, but he is an employee, or the individual is an employee of Brockton, not of the Elmwood department.
Okay, thank you. I didn't understand that. Thanks.
Yeah. No,
and clarity is certainly something that we do seek. So, okay, so we won't, there's no need to pull that item then. Councillor Hergert?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Just as I sit on that board, I would like to just update council. So maybe if I could do that now, or is that more appropriate at a later time?
I would say, is it very long? Because if you
No,
can.
no, it's literally that they are searching for a new fire chief and they expect that December would be the new start date. This is a gentleman, Wayne McLeod, that's been around Elmwood Fire Department for a very long time. And we feel very comfortable putting him as the fire chief for now. And there is a search on for a new chief.
Good, and that was most appropriate for your summary at this time. Thank you. Councillor Hutchinson then? I'm going to pull the item if I need to, but please go ahead, Councillor Hutchinson.
Sorry, I had another question, not necessarily related to that item. But again, has to do with the accessibility document from the county. Can I just ask that?
Is it going to get into a lot of discussion?
No,
or,
just making a statement based on what's on there, and we've already sort of discussed it at the warden.
Please go ahead.
It was just on in the transportation standard, page 41. It mentions we talked about accessibility, the plan to provide accessible bus stops and shelters in the community. So yeah, that's not. I know we have bus stops, but I don't think we have accessible bus stops and shelters. So that's just something to keep in mind when we're talking about transportation.
I appreciate you identifying that. I'll forward that on to the county. Certainly the two bus stops that we have in Durham, there's no shelter for that. So I'll carry that conversation forward. I do know there was a pending report, and I'll ensure that members of this council receive that report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're quite welcome. Could I please have a seconder for the motion? And I will have Clerk Sharbeck, could you just refresh our memory? It's just been a little bit of time since that was read.
Sure, thank you. And through you, Your Worship. The recommendation, just actually before I read this, a note that 10.2.5, the Municipality of Meaford resolution has been pulled and will be addressed after this resolution. So this recommendation moved by Councillor Hamilton is that all correspondence items not otherwise dealt with are hereby received.
Thank you. I'm looking for a seconder. Councillor Hutchinson, would you second this motion?
Councillor Hutchinson seconds the motion, yes.
All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed indicate with an X mark. Councillor Shea, before I call the question, before I call the vote, you have your hand up.
Yes, I thought you usually do the question thing after the second. I just wanted to mention in regard to the correspondence from the Solicitor General or the Solicitor General that it indicates that training will be required of police service board members going forward after this new act is passed, and that our police service board members, by and large, elected to participate in a voluntary training program looking towards inclusivity. So I'm just proud that we're a little bit ahead of the curve on this. I want to bring that to everyone's attention. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Councillor Shea, for mentioning that, and certainly that all members of the board have either taken the course or will be taking the course. So that would include all of our membership, including the chief, quite frankly. So yes, we are very proud of that, and we'll continue to look for training because that's certainly training and awareness is extremely important. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, on the vote. As I call your name, please state your name and how you are voting. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor. Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, yes.
Motion carried. We are now going to be dealing with 10.2.5, Municipality of Meaford Resolution, Countywide Waste Management Program. How do you wish to deal with this? Councillor Shea.
I'm sorry, I hadn't lowered my hand from the previous vote.
Fair enough. Thank you. Councillor Hergert, please.
Yes, I think there's a lot of merit in the discussion. There are new regulations coming under that circular economy, or circular producer responsibility and circular economy. All of those new regulations would, as I previously mentioned earlier in the meeting, would require 9 lower tier municipalities to adopt and find a way to make it happen. And with the deadline a couple years out, I believe that it gives us an opportunity to find what we have in our community. As the warden mentioned earlier, this is ongoing discussion about the biodigester up in Chatsworth. I believe there's even been AMO delegations about the costs of keeping that. We know that we want to separate organics. We do a pretty good job in West Grey because we have a lot of farm area. However, we could do a lot more in town to collect. I've brought up before a Mullock collection system. There are lots of ideas out there, and we could make a Grey County solution. I believe that the resolution from Meaford touches on every part of that. The type of contracts that are going to be required in 3 years, the amount of money, who will do it just for West Grey if they don't get to go into Grey Highlands as well. We could be limited by a provider. So every bit of this, the municipality of Meaford was awarded a contract in the collection of recycling organics at a significantly increased price per year. That's not us, that doesn't apply. The next paragraph, the next whereas doesn't apply. The third one, there are long-term sustainability issues related to exporting garbage. I believe that is definitely the same as West Grey. We don't send our garbage out at this time. However, if we look towards the notice of motion and the last few years, we've had some studies done about how much time we have left with our landfills. And we have one that has more than 10 years, hopefully, but we need to start figuring this out now. So I would be supportive of the third paragraph, the third whereas, the fourth whereas. I don't prefer the fifth one that says Meaford is too small to implement significant change, but I do believe that it goes to the point of if we all 9 of us, different municipalities, try and figure out a way on our own, we don't have the strength in numbers. So, you know, I'd be okay to leave that whereas out, but I do believe that the next whereas in many parts of the province, the upper tier is responsible for waste collection. I believe that should be in there. And the final one, that we would request Grey County consider the merits of delivering waste collection and disposal systems at a county level. And hopefully we can find some efficiencies and we can find more competition to deliver this. So I believe there are many parts that are very important right now, that we're all being shook up by the new regulations. We have an opportunity on that environmental registry right now to comment until December 3rd. That's through the province. And I think that this right here would say locally, we need to work together and find a solution that works for Grey County. So I would be supportive of the majority of this resolution. And I look forward to my other counterparts' comments.
Yeah, there's a few, but first, Councillor Hergert, would
Yes.
you consider this as a notice of motion? So the clerk will prepare, as you've identified the paragraphs out of the resolution that came out of the municipality of Meaford. So the clerk could prepare the notice of motion and have that on the next council agenda. And then at that point, it could be considered and we'd look for a seconder. Would that be appropriate?
I have a question and would ask if it could be taken up tonight concurrently with the other notice of motion as it relates directly to, and it's been notified, notification to the public is included in this package that we would be discussing this. So I think there's merit in taking up both of the trash waste management discussion resolutions tonight as notice of motion.
Okay, one moment. I'll ask the clerk.
Thank you.
It's a direct motion and it's council's prerogative to allow a direct motion with a 2/3 vote, right?
Are you okay to speak to that? Yeah. Oh, okay. So the clerk is just saying to me, yes, she was going to speak to it, but she's just looking to me. It could be a direct motion and it would require the 2/3 vote. We've done that before in terms of the process. So at the appropriate time, which Clerk
Thank
Scherbak,
you. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Through you. Yes, we could put this, Councillor Herger, if you'd like to bring this forward as a direct motion under new business, then, or we could have a notice of motion and have it voted on at the next meeting. But it would be a direct motion tonight, and it's up to council to allow a direct motion on the agenda, which I'm sure probably wouldn't be an issue because you're right, it is, the waste management issues are already on the agenda, so
there's a
it
couple
fits
options
the
in place.
discussion. So there are those options, but there would be a resolution of council to allow it, and then the direct motion voted on. And I would pull out, if I can just confirm with you, Councillor Herger,
Yes.
the third, whereas there are long-term sustainability issues,
Yes.
and the next one, whereas it may be more viable,
Yes.
and I'm going to miss one, and whereas in many parts of the province, the upper tier,
Yes.
and therefore be it resolved that the council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby requests,
Yes.
and that this motion be circulated to other lower tier municipalities.
Yes. Thank you very much. And I will
Okay.
bring that under a direct motion.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, very good. Councillor Hutchinson then.
Yeah, so are we okay to comment now, or do we want to leave it till it's brought forward as a motion?
Leave it till it's brought forward, I think.
I would like all of this discussion then to be part of that direct motion discussion.
Okay, I'll wait then. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let me look back on the agenda. All right, so now we are moving on to item 11, routine department reports, NA. Item 12, future committee meetings. So from 12.1 all the way to 12.5, there's a listing of upcoming meetings. Item 13, communications from mayor and members of council. I would just like to make 5 very quick points. The final draft Grey County Cycling and Trails Master Plan is now available on the Grey County website. The final draft plan will be presented virtually to Grey County Council Committee of the Whole on Thursday, October 22nd. Also, Councillor Hutchinson, I wanted to bring that to your attention as well because you're very much involved in trails. A new business has opened in Neustadt. It's called Noah's Inn Fish and Chips. The Boots and Bling virtual event fundraiser for the Durham Hospital raised over $77,000, and I was pleased to bring greetings on behalf of West Grey Council. The Municipality of West Grey will be hosting a drive-through Halloween event on October 31st from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Durham Marina parking lot. This is a free event, but please register through the West Grey website or call Supervisor Hewlett at the municipal office. Also, members of council, I just wanted to remind you, as well as citizens, that there will be website training for our West Grey website on October 27th. So that is also a committee of the whole meeting date and a committee of adjustment date. But we all look forward to that, that training. Deputy Mayor, any comments? And let us know what you've been doing in the last 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. Deputy Mayor Hutchinson here. Just a couple of, well, actually one item in particular, just wanted to update that we did have a traffic calming committee. And I just want to let everyone know that we're coming up with some thoughts and some initiatives. We're working with our police chief and director of infrastructure. So hopefully we're going to come up with some ideas or again, some concepts on calming the traffic down and slowing the traffic down, but it's not here yet, but we're certainly working towards that. And other than that, I'd just like to say thank you to Warden McQueen for all the updates again, because some of the items that I had on my list, he certainly gave us a full detailed description and analysis on some of the stuff that we heard this morning from economic development up at the county. So that's it. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton, please.
Mayor Robinson, I don't think I've ever spoken first. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, Councillor.
I have just a couple updates. I recently coordinated a tour of Riverstone Eco Retreat, which is just around the corner from the municipal office. The retreat was acquired by the nonprofit organization Elephant Thoughts about a year ago, and they are running and also developing education programs predominantly for youth and young adults. Some of the programs include forest school, sustainable building, community gardens, and regenerative farming. So I connected with, Supervisor Hewlett and a couple of librarians, Kim and Kayla. We came together to meet with staff of Elephant Thoughts and had a tour just to hear more about their programs. I think we planted some seeds that day, not literally, but I think we've got some great, just to see what programs they're running, the space they have available, and any future partnerships down the road. So it was a really, really great day, and I'm very appreciative to staff for coming out. So thank you. I also attended a Bruce Grey Poverty Task Force meeting last Friday, and council, if you haven't had the chance to attend a meeting, I encourage you to go to a meeting. Over 52 partners are actively working in our communities to lift people out of poverty. And they just released a report. It's called the Impact Report, and it's a new way of reporting. They're shifting from activities-based reporting to outcomes measures. So I'll send a link of that report to council and our CEO for your information. And lastly, the FCM Sustainable Communities 3-day virtual conference began today. Really inspiring keynote today. I look forward to sharing with council everything that I'm learning. And just to mention that today I did attend a workshop about how to integrate climate change into asset management. And there's a really great guide that I will also email out to council and to our CEO about climate change and asset management. And also, one last detail, I do have a couple of timely things that came up. So I do have 2 small direct motions that I'd like to introduce if council will allow later in the evening. One's regarding declaring Waste Reduction Week, as we did last year, and one's about some new grants for tree planting. Thank you, Mayor Robinson.
Thank you very much. I've noted those under our new business item, which is item 17. Very good. Thank you very much for that most interesting summary on what you've been up to in the past while. Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Councillor Hutchison here. So, yeah, just a couple items. BIA did meet, the Durham BIA did meet recently, and they are participating in the Halloween drive-through opportunity, which sounds exciting. I know that it sounds like they got a pretty good turnout for that. Hopefully they're prepared with enough candy or treats to give out. And they're also discussing, they're looking forward to the Christmas tree lighting, and we'll have some more discussion on that coming up, I'm sure, with especially once our CAO gets back, and we'll talk more about that. And just a reminder, people to check out their new website at townofdurham.ca. They're posting some information there. One other item, Councillor Hamilton reminded me that when talking about outdoor ed opportunities, Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority is also offering some outdoor opportunities at the old headquarters site, Sulphur Springs. Is that what they go by now? Something like that. So there's opportunities there also for children to get involved. But otherwise, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Townsend.
Yes, Councillor Townsend here. The first point I'll do is a new one is Catch the Ace is still going. This Friday will be the 27th out of the 30th weeks. And the jackpot is estimated around 12,000 if your ticket is pulled and the envelope number has the ace of spades in it. So please support your local Lions. We know they do a lot for us as well. Also attended the Boots and Bling, and I was really pleased to see that most items sold and most items sold for pretty good money, and that's part of what helped. Plus the shout out to Germania Insurance, who actually was a matched donation. They provided a match up to $5,500, so they gave $5,500, and for all the donations that were given up to that, they would match. So really it was 11,000 is what they gave. And like I say, you always need to say thank you to those that support you well. Drive-through Halloween was also going to comment on. I know some of the businesses that are actually participating, a little concerned about volume of people, but I'm pleased to say a lot of residents have stepped up and they are receiving, some business anyway, are receiving donations of candy to supplement what it may cost them themselves. So, you know, a shout out to those people as well. As Deputy Mayor Hutchinson talked about, the traffic safety meeting was an excellent meeting. And it was the Director of Public Works that recommended that he go away and meet with the chief to actually come back with a report with solid suggestions based on our discussions and costs. So look forward to that. Also been attending the SEC conference, and day one was amazing. I also noticed the Tree Canada with the grant up to 10,000. I think that's amazing, and maybe an opportunity for us as one of our climate change issues. And I suspect that's where Councillor Hamilton's coming from. And last but not least, the training for the website. Great. I'm really glad to see that's happening. And there's lots happening here, and there'll be lots happening over the next few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hergert.
Yes, thank you to all who have donated for the Durham Hospital Foundation fundraiser. There were many people who donated in many ways, financially, their time, donating items. It just really was a tremendous get together of people for a cause. And my only other item that I have on for tonight is the comment period on the Environmental Registry regarding the Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act of 2016. Those new regulations have come out and they're online, and the comment period is until December 3rd of 2020. I also was curious if staff would be bringing us a report about those regulations, or ideas for West Grey to comment as a whole. I know myself I will be submitting, but I think it would be important to help the province get this right. This is a massive change in how we do waste management. So I'll look forward to a staff comment at some point. Thank you.
Well, thank you too. And certainly as a member of council or citizen, you're absolutely able to comment on any of those draft legislation. I'm going to say that I'll connect with the CAO in terms of whether there is a report that's pending on that. So please, members of council, stay tuned for that update. Councillor Shea, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Shea. Yes, just to reiterate a number of things that have been said, I too attended the FCM Sustainable Communities Conference today and will be tomorrow and the next day as well. It seems really exciting and inspiring. I also decided to sit in on the what the Deputy Mayor called the Traffic Calming Committee meeting. I like that name, Deputy Mayor. With Councillor Townsend and the Deputy Mayor and a number of citizens, and was really inspired by the progressive attitude towards sort of exploring opportunities for addressing speeding concerns within our community. I did get, on the request of a citizen, I did connect with the Grey Bruce Health Unit to talk about Halloween.
I've got that as well. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really pleased that we're doing the drive-through thing, but They are also recommending procedures for safe door-to-door trick-or-treating. So that's not entirely off the table. It's not something I'm going to be participating in this year. But I just wanted to point out that, if you are going to be trick-or-treating, it is recommended that you do it safely. And finally, I'll just mention that I had a meeting of the AMO Waste Management Task Force this past week. It's only our second meeting in over a year, but the members of the committee were feeling very invigorated and proactive, and I think we've upped our meeting schedule to once a month instead of 3 times a year. And partly that's in response to a perception that the new regulations regarding blue box and recycling, as they're being introduced and moved through the process, are getting slightly watered down and weaker. And so we're just very concerned that we're doing the absolute best that we can. So if I have anything to report in detail on that, I'll bring it forward to council. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'd be looking forward to that, Councillor. So I do want to say, and thank you for the segue into the Halloween comment. Public Health has information on their website, COVID-19 considerations for Halloween. There's a document on there that provides guidance on safety precautions to take for trick-or-treating and Halloween. There's a please note, the provincial government may provide their own messaging in response to an increase in provincial case numbers. In the event that this change affects our message, that is the public health message, this document will be adjusted as needed. Please check regularly for the updates to this document. There's steps to trick or treat safely during COVID-19 and identifies the public health protocols. Steps to having a safe COVID Halloween at home. I also want to say congratulations and well done to Supervisor Hewlett. Putting together the Halloween drive-through is a really great event for our community. It's an event for the youth of our community. It's something that's bringing us together at the end of October. So I do want to say well done, Supervisor Hewlett, for all of your exceptional work on this event and certainly all of your recreation events that you bring forward. Okay, that brings to a close item 13. But as I'm saying that, Councillor Hutchinson's hand went up. Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Yeah, Councillor Hutchinson, you just brought to mind a question regarding the Halloween drive-through. Are we going to do any kind of registration? I'm just wondering with tracking and knowing that this has been publicized. I remember hearing the advertising on Country 93, so it's been advertised pretty wide. I'm just curious of how many people are going to come from outside our community, and should we be doing some kind of registration of vehicles in case anything happens?
Well, thank you very much. We'll quickly take the answer from Supervisor Hewlett before we move on to item 15. And I know he is prepared to respond to your question, Councillor. Supervisor Hewlett, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the question, Councillor Hutchinson. Yes, we are expecting quite a large turnout for the event. However, we did work with Public Health in creating the event. Contact tracing was not recommended for the event. However, registration is. In the event that something did happen, we do have a way to contact all of the registrants. However, we will not be doing contact tracing per se at the event.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I forgot too. Yeah, we're registering children as they come through, so that would give us some kind of callback if we needed it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, you're quite welcome. We're moving on now to item 14, business arising from the previous meeting. Clerk Scharbeck, is there any?
Through you, Your Worship, I don't have any business arising. Nobody's notified me of any at this time.
Thank you. Item 15, members of council, staff report. 15.1, a Director of Finance and Treasurer. 15.1.1, approval of accounts, voucher 18-2020. Clerk Scharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Through you, your worship, the recommendation is that council approves voucher number 18-2020 in the amount of $536,484.61.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Townsend, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Townsend, I'm moving the motion.
Councillor Hamilton, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hamilton, I second the motion.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I will call the vote then. All those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. As I call your name for the vote, please state your name and how you are voting. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend,
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert,
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea,
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchison, did I hear my name called?
yes. Councillor Hutchinson,
Sorry, I didn't hear it. Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
motion carried. We are now on item 16. Members of council, if you could please clear your dashboard. Item 16, bylaws, proposed bylaws. 16.1, bylaw number 68-2020, appointment of a committee of adjustment. Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Through you, your worship, the recommendation is that the council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 68-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a committee of adjustment.
I am looking for a mover and a seconder with check marks, and then I'll look for questions. Councillor Deputy Mayor Hutchinson? Are you moving the motion? Oh, I should finish my sentence, which is a question. Deputy Mayor, are you moving the motion?
Yes, this is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. I will move the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton, are you seconding the motion?
Yes, Mayor Robinson, I second the motion.
Thank you. I see there's hands up for questions, beginning with there's two questions anyway. Councillor Townsend.
Yes, an observation, and it doesn't apply to all of the bylaws that we're about to approach, but quite a few of them. Some of them actually have repealing an old bylaw, and some of them do not, and yet I do know those bylaws were passed. So I'm just curious from a procedural perspective, why they all don't repeal the last one.
Okay, Clerk Sharbeck, please.
Thank you. Through you, your worship, as if they have a specific bylaw, which the committee of adjustment does, and I believe the rest of these were all on the same appointment bylaw, and some of the appointments were council appointments on one bylaw and public members on another. So the Police Service Board, the Library Board, the West Grey Property Standards Committee were all on the main appointing bylaw,
Yes.
which has been repealed in the new appointment bylaw. So it doesn't need to be repealed on each one, but they were all on that before together. That's why
Yep.
they don't have one to repeal that's specific just to that board. Does that help?
He's fine. He's got, Councillor Townsend has a thumbs up.
Okay,
And that
thanks.
was very clear. Thank you. I thought I saw another hand up. I'm not seeing it now. So I'm just pausing for a moment. And now I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson,
Councillor Hutchison in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Shea,
Councillor Shea, yes.
Councillor Hergert,
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend,
Councillor Townsend in favor.
motion carried. 16.2, bylaw number 69-2020, appoint a police service board. Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Through you, Your Worship, the recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 69-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a police services board.
Councillor Shea, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Shea, I move the motion.
Councillor Hergert, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Questions? Councillor Hergert,
Yes, thank you. I was curious, have we heard anything from the province about filling a second citizen appointment? That seat has been open or vacant, let's say, for several years now. I didn't know if there was any communication from the province. There used to be a moratorium.
we are expecting that we will hear from it. We certainly keep tabs on that through the Police Services Board. As soon as we are notified, we will let council know. Thank you for the question. Councillor Shea. As I raise my voice, Councillor Shea, please go ahead.
Thank you. For the clerk, I know this is not exactly your purview. The Police Services Board is conducted under a different set of regulations. But if one position on a committee has not been filled, does that still count towards, oh, not the words eluded me. When you have enough members? Quorum. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So is quorum for this committee 2 or is quorum for this committee 3?
Thank you, through you, Your Worship. That's a really good question, Councillor Shea. I do have quite a bit of experience with police services boards, and the province, we're not the only ones with that vacant provincial appointee spot. It's been a problem right across the province and in communities with police services boards. So what the province has allowed is that boards continue to operate, and that they can operate with the members that are appointed today, and a quorum being a majority of that. So that missing person doesn't come off of quorum. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Yes.
And we have been operating under that,
And
yes.
it was a real problem for a lot of the boards that only had 3-member boards. So if they were down a member, they were down to 2. So just to allow business to continue, yes, operate with what you've got as if it was the full board. And when we get a provincial appointee filled, then quorum will go up by 1. So I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
On the motion, all those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of the motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison in favor.
Motion carried. 16.3, bylaw number 70-2020, appoint a West Grey Public Library Board. Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Thank you, through your worship. The recommendation is that the council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 70-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a West Grey Public Library Board. Oh, did you hear me?
I am just going to question whether the audio, now, that's
Oh,
much better.
That was,
Clerk Sharbeck, could you please reread? I did not want to interrupt you. Could you please read the motion?
I'm sorry, I
No
did not
worries.
click my unmute message from Cody, so I apologize. The recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 70-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a West Grey Public Library Board.
Councillor Shay, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Shea, I move the motion.
Councillor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hutchison seconds the motion.
Questions? Councillor Shay.
I'm curious why we have 3 council representatives on this board when other boards like the Lamlash Hall, for example, have no council representatives. Is this necessary?
I have the history on this. We did have, and then I'll go to our clerk to provide more of an answer. Originally, the appointment was for 2 members of council, and that was Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Hutchinson. There was a vacancy on the board, a citizen vacancy, and the request, or then Councillor Townsend, who was the alternate, was appointed as to fill a vacancy. So we have 3 members of council at this point. Clerk Sharbeck, do you have any other comments? And then I'd probably go to Councillor Hamilton or Hutchinson if there's any other quick comment on that one. Good question, Councillor Shay.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Shay, for that question. It is a good question, and I would like to include that as part of our discussion on October 27th, Committee of the Whole meeting, when we talk about each committee and board, the council representation on it, how many members are on each one. Some of the legislated ones we don't have a lot of say in, but there are pieces that council does have control over, and whether or not there should be committees of council with no council representation on that committee is definitely something for that more fulsome discussion. And I hope we have a chance to go through each committee of council one at a time and make sure that it truly is serving council and our community as you wish it to.
Okay, and I would like to, Councillor Shay, does that complete your question? Because I would like to go to Councillor Townsend, who is also on the library board.
Yes, that's great. If we're going to have a fuller discussion about this in an upcoming COW meeting, that's fine
Yes.
with me. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Townsend, please.
Yes, thank you. As you noted, I was the 3rd member added, and I was the alternate. There was some resignations from the library board, and they had asked for others and didn't get a response. And they are allowed to have up to 3 counselors per their Library Act, which is why they then approached me. But we did try to get a citizen identified first and couldn't, and therefore that's why the appointment occurred.
Thank you. Councillor Herger, please.
Thank you. I would like to move that we defer 16.3, 16.4, and 16.5 until after next Tuesday's meeting. We already have people in place in these positions. And if we are going to have a more wholesome discussion next Tuesday, then I don't see the reason to pass these bylaws if we would potentially be changing them next week. So I would make a motion to defer on, pardon me, it's bylaw number 70 and 71 and 72 at this time.
Okay, before I go for a seconder, I'd like to go to
Motion to
Clerk
defer.
Sharbeck. Yeah, I'd like to go. We do have a motion on the floor from Councillor Shea and Councillor Hutchinson, but I do want to go to the clerk procedurally because we now have a motion to, at least the mover, to defer. And I'd also like to know, with regards to impact, so we currently have bylaws in place. So that will that enable all of our other committee meetings to take place, like Conservation Authority, like SMART, anything else, property standards, and all the other committees? Can they function with authority and enabling bylaw? Or do we need to pass these bylaws and have the discussion as you're intending that we do, that we pass these bylaws and then have a wholesome discussion, because it won't impact all of the meetings. Your comments, please, based on Councillor Herbert's deferral, and anything else you wish to talk about procedurally, please.
Okay, thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
The bylaws I had set out in my report at the last meeting, the Committee of Adjustment, Police Services Board, the Public Library Board, and the Property Standards Committee all require authority to be stated under specific pieces of legislation. And the Police Services Board, the Public Library Board, the Property Standards were previously appointed under the authority of the Municipal Act, which does not allow those boards to operate as they need to. These bylaws are simply providing a clean slate for Committee of the Whole to go through and discuss at the Committee of the Whole meeting. It's not the be all and end all. It's a clean slate to go into a working group discussion. And after that, then they will be updated based on Committee of the Whole's direction and brought back as amended to a future council meeting for council's final approval. So the appointment members to various boards, committees, that will, I hope at the Committee of the Whole meeting, council has an opportunity to look at this clean slate with all the council appointees and the public appointees on one list and go through these committees, determine how they want members selected, what the composition is, and then however that's changed, I'll take all that direction from Committee of the Whole and amend this bylaw and bring back a new appointment bylaw for a November council meeting. So these can be deferred, but they aren't a be all and end all. They're at this point in time a clean slate, so the Committee of the Whole knows exactly what they're dealing with. As far as the motion to defer, we do have a motion on the floor moved by Councillor Shea and Councillor Hutchinson.
So I do like your style in terms of having a very clear approach in terms of what committees we have before council for that discussion. And that if council at the Committee of the Whole meeting wishes to, merge committees or address committees in a different fashion, we can do that with a very clear bylaw in place that it's an all-inclusive starting point. So I think I understand what you're saying.
And they can be deferred until a future meeting if it's council's wish. I mean, to adopt them tonight or decide at a future meeting is council's prerogative for sure. It's just that was the purpose behind these cleanup bylaws at this point.
Very good. So do I entertain the motion to defer at this point, Clerk Sharbeck? And the clerk is looking through the procedural bylaw. Please, one moment. I'll pull the reference point if you wish. Okay, quick short back, if I could just put your attention to page 33 of the procedure bylaw motion to defer.
Mhm.
Oh, you've got that.
Yeah.
Please proceed, thank you.
So we do, the motion to defer can be addressed, but the motion that's on the floor needs to be addressed first. So either voted on or withdrawn by both the
Okay.
mover and the seconder. It's council's wish, and then following that.
Okay, so the motion that we have on the floor, could you please read that? And I will proceed accordingly.
So at this point in time, moved by Councillor Shay and seconded by Councillor Hutchinson, the motion is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 70-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a West Grey Public Library Board.
Councillor Shay, as the mover, how do you wish to proceed with your motion at hand?
Well, I'm just looking at the procedure bylaw, and item 24.1 says that a motion to defer has to be addressed before the main motion.
Share back, please. When you have a moment.
Yes, that's correct. So if there's a seconder to the deferral,
Okay. All right, so we have a mover of Councillor Hergert to defer. Do you want me to summarize? It was, did you want to do that? Clerk? All right, the motion to defer by Councillor Hergert with respect to bylaw number 70-2020, bylaw number 71-2020, bylaw number 72-2020. Councillor Hergert, did that also include 73-2020?
73 is the interim fire chief. No, that does not include that. We need to do that bylaw 73 tonight.
Thank you for the clarity. So it's the three
70,
bylaws that I just
71.
read.
Yep.
Yep. Is there a seconder for that? And through a
to
second,
what date?
pardon me?
We need a
Unt-
date.
Okay, could you please identify the date by which you're identifying this deferral?
Thank you very much, Clerk Scharbeck. The October 27th Committee of the Whole meeting, we're going to take this matter up in greater detail. So I would think at the October 27th, next Tuesday meeting should be fine.
Clerk Scharbeck? Any comments or do you need to deal with that before I ask for a seconder?
Yeah, we won't be passing any bylaws at Committee of the Whole.
Oh, right. Okay. November 3rd, then we are.
Okay, good for clarity.
Thank you.
November 3rd, I'm just looking, November 3rd. Thank you, Clerk Scharbeck. Is there a seconder for this deferral? And through a seconder, you know, members of council, I look for a check mark. I am not seeing a check mark. So that is off the floor, but before I go back to the main motion, Councillor Townsend, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. If you recall, at the beginning of this discussion, I asked about why every bylaw did not have a repeal from the old one, and the clerk was clear enough that it was repealed once. It didn't have to be repealed many times. So my concern was that if in fact it had been deferred, then those appointments had been withdrawn and in fact are not standing going forward. So for the next 2 weeks, if anything comes up, any meetings are done, then for those particular committees and or boards, they couldn't actually move forward. But that's not an issue now. So thank you.
Okay. Clerk Scharbeck, from my understanding, but I'm looking for clarity for all members of council, the existing bylaws would be intact until it would be addressed. But could you please, anyway, it's kind of a moot point. Anyway, that's fine. I don't want to pursue a moot point at this juncture. So we do have before us bylaw number 70-2020. Clerk Charbet, could you please read the motion and then I will go for the vote.
Through you, your worship, the recommendation, or sorry, the motion moved by Councillor Shay and seconded by Councillor Hutchinson is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 70-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a West Grey Public Library Board.
I'm just pausing for questions. All those in favor, please signify with a check mark. If not, with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson,
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Shay,
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hergert,
Counselor Herger, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Motion carried. We're dealing with, dashboard, thank you very much. 16.4 bylaw number 71-2020. Appoint a West Grey Property Standards Committee. Clerk Shepherd, could you please read the motion?
Through your worship, the recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 71-2020, being a bylaw to appoint a West Grey Property Standards Committee.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Townsend, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Townsend, yes, I'm moving the motion.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion? Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Robinson. As Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, I will second the motion.
Thank you. Questions? All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Oppose, X mark, please. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend,
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert,
Counselor Herger, yes.
Councillor Shay,
Councillor Shay, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson,
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
motion carried. Now, item 16.5, bylaw number 72.2020, appoint members to various boards, committees, and authorities of the Municipality of West Grey. So Clerk Sharpak, before I ask you to read the motion, I do want to identify that we do have a youth action committee. The mayor's been appointed, or I've been appointed. There are potentially 2 other positions for members of council. There were 3 members of council that were interested. That was Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, who has now identified, because he's on the airport, he's fine not to be appointed for considered for appointment. But there was also Councillor Shay and Councillor Townsend. So could I ask that these items be included and a potential amendment to the motion? And so I'm seeing your head nod, so that's correct. But before I do that, could I just please confirm that the 3 members of council still want to be on and that Deputy Mayor is okay to not be considered? So is all of that in order, Clerk Sherbeck? And if not, that's fine too, whatever you wish procedurally.
Thank you. Through your worship, that's a good question. What we can do at this point in time, the bylaw is, as it is in the package, can be amended before the third and final reading. So a member of council may move that council gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw 72-2020 as amended by adding the following members to the Youth Action Committee: Mayor Christine Robinson, Councillor Shea, Councillor Townsend.
And I'm appointed through resolution already, but thank you for that.
Or-
So before I ask, actually, let's take you to read the motion. I'll look for a mover and seconder, and then questions. And I do note that Councillor Hamilton had her hand up, but I'll do that after the motion is before us. See if the motion will go with the amendment or if there's a mover and seconder.
The recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 72-2020 as amended by adding the following names to the Youth Action Committee: Mayor Christine Robinson, Councillor Shea, and Councillor Townsend. And this being a bylaw to appoint members to various boards, committees, and authorities for the Municipality of West Grey.
Okay. So should I get a mover and seconder first and then ask the members of council that have been identified if they wish their name to stand as identified? Okay. Yes, all right. Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Hamilton, are you moving the motion?
Yes, Mayor Robinson, Councillor Hamilton, I move the motion.
As seconder, I see Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. Are you seconding this motion?
This is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. I will second the motion.
So with that, Deputy, you're fine with having your name not stand for this consideration for the Youth Committee?
Yes, I am, Mayor Robinson. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Townsend, do you wish your name to stand?
Councillor Townsend, yes.
Councillor Shea, do you wish your name to stand?
Councillor Shea, yes.
Okay, any questions or comments beginning with Councillor Hamilton, please?
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. I was wondering if the new police building committee would also be included in this bylaw. Thank you.
Clerk Sherbeck, please. It's by resolution, but good question, Councillor.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship. It could be added in this resolution. At
Okay.
this time, if both the mover and seconder deemed it appropriate, it would be added as an ad hoc committee because it does have a very specific purpose and will be dissolved when that purpose is done. I think that committee was struck after this was prepared and there wasn't time to redo this for this meeting,
Fair enough.
but it can be amended before it's signed if it's council's wish, or I guess the mover and seconder's wish, to add that ad hoc police building committee. Or
Yeah, West Grey
please.
Police Building Ad Hoc Committee, of which there is Mayor Robinson, Councillor Shea, and Councillor Hutchinson.
Right.
So Councillor Hamilton, your great question. Would you be so inclined to include that in your motion?
Yes, please, if I can amend the motion with that, please, then that'd be great. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you fine with that as well?
Yes, this is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. I am fine with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions? I will call the vote then. Clerk Sherbeck? That's in order? Yes. All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed indicate with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson,
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Shay.
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hergert.
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Motion carried. 16.6, bylaw number 73-2020, appoint an interim fire chief for the Elmwood Fire Department. Clerk Sharbeck, please.
Through your worship, the recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 73-2020, being a bylaw to appoint an interim fire chief for the Elmwood Fire Department.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Hergert, are you moving this motion?
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, I'll second the motion.
Questions? All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shay.
Councillor Shay, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
Motion carried. Item 16.7, bylaw number 74-2020, confirming proceedings of council. Clerk Sharbeck, please.
Thank you. Through you, your worship, the recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw number 74-2020, being a bylaw to confirm matters addressed at the October 20th, 2020 regular council meeting.
Councillor Shay, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hutchison seconds the motion.
Questions? All those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Shay.
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hergert.
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, yes.
Motion carried. Moving over on the page, this will be an active item. Item 17, new business. The one that we have on the agenda so far is a 17.1, a notice of motion. I just want to do a recap because Councillor Hergert had a direct motion and then Councillor Hamilton identified two other notices of motion, if I'm correct by my notes. So we will first deal with 17.1, notice of motion, waste master plan. Councillor Hergert, would you please read your motion?
Actually, this waste master plan is not my notice of motion.
Oh, no. This is Councillor Hamilton's first. Just for clarification for everyone, 17.1 is a notice of motion and it's a waste master plan. Notice of motion, I understand this is from Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Hergert, there will be your direct motion following this, and then back to Councillor Hamilton for her other two. Thank you for that clarity. Councillor Hamilton, could you please read your notice of motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Robinson. Whereas West Grey landfill sites have a remaining life of 1 and 19 years, according to the most recently released 2019 municipal audit. Whereas West Grey's strategic vision plan highlights council's commitment for environmental stewardship and investing in infrastructure, includes such strategies as investigate innovative solutions to current infrastructure challenges, develop funding strategies for long-term asset management, find ways to divert waste from landfill sites, look for alternatives to single-use plastics, and develop a marketing strategy to promote recycling. Whereas West Grey currently does not have a long-term plan for waste management, whereas a waste management master plan would chart a course for the next 25 to 30 years with aims that include but are not limited to extending the life of the landfills for our growing West Grey community, setting an ambitious waste diversion target, enhancing environmental stewardship through innovative strategies to reduce waste and greenhouse gas emissions, garnering community input from households, industry, institutions, and businesses, adapting to legislative changes, examining fees and recovery costs. Whereas in 2019, West Grey Council declared a climate crisis, and thereby plans and policies should be developed through a climate lens with consideration for economic, environmental, and social factors. Whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, Green Municipal Fund provides grants for waste diversion studies and pilot projects. Therefore, be it resolved that staff report on A, the feasibility of developing a waste management master plan, an effort to extend the life of the landfills and to enhance environmental stewardship. B, the financial and resource implications, including consideration for the partial use of the Modernization and Efficiencies Grant to hire a consultant with experience in sustainability, climate change, and grant writing. C, a brief overview of funding opportunities within the FCM Green Municipal Fund. And lastly, D, and that the report be presented at Committee of the Whole on November 24th, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton, you are moving that motion.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Shea, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Shea, I second the motion.
Questions, comments? Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison, there's no doubt that we have some issues with our landfills, with our whole recycling landfill issues. I'm just not sure whether we want to jump into doing a whole study and whatnot, given that we already have discussion coming forward through a direct motion about asking the county, pushing this to county level to look at. So the county's going to look at it. I'm not sure how much money and time and effort and staff time we want to put into doing a whole master plan when the whole thing may be looked at the county level. So there's a lot of unanswered questions here, especially when it comes to the recycling and the changes there. So I'm not sure whether I want to support this as whole. I know our director is coming back to us with a report. I'm thinking maybe even next week or the near future. So I'd be interested to see what he has in his report before we start committing to a long-term plan. So that's my concern with it. I know that there's issues and we have to make a plan for sure, but I'm not sure that we can go out on our own and do this without having the county involved in a number of other municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Councillor Hutchinson. Councillor Hamilton, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson, and thank you for those comments, Councillor Hutchinson. Yeah, it was interesting timing that motion came from Meaford, and I am very supportive of following that path and having that discussion at Grey County. This motion was sparked. That line really jumped out for me out of our audit. That it was just a good reminder. Our landfills have 1 and 19 years remaining, and we have no long-term plan. I am very pleased that our Public Works Director is currently working on finding efficiencies and in service delivery and finding new ways to divert waste. And I'm very pleased with that work that's happening. And I know that report will be coming back to council. And I'm also very pleased and supportive of Councillor Hergert's motion to have this discussion of waste management at Grey County. I think we do have to work together, and we do have to leverage opportunities and resources and not work in our silos. So I look forward to that conversation. We have an asset, a couple assets, landfills, that not all of our local lower tier municipalities have. And so I think we have 1 year and 19 years remaining at our landfill. And when that Durham landfill eventually closes, all that waste will be going to one landfill. And so that 19 years remaining becomes much less. And so while I think the report from our Public Works Director is very important, and I think this conversation at Grey County, I hope there's some uptake in that. I hope that moves forward. I also think that's very important, but I wouldn't want that to prevent us from just investigating what it would look like to have a long-term waste management plan here for West Grey. So just a reminder, this is not a decision today about should we have a waste management plan. It is just a request to staff to come back with the information we need so that we could arrive at making that decision in the near future. So I am supportive of our Public Works Director. I'm supportive of a discussion at Grey County. And I think simultaneously, we should also consider our future, and protecting these assets and our service delivery to our community. And also, this gives us an opportunity to develop our vision and our values and developing our environmental stewardship. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Townsend, please.
Yes, it's Councillor Townsend. First of all, I agree with Councillor Hutchinson's comments, and also Councillor Hamilton, in the sense that it's more fluke than anything else, that everything comes together on the one day. But Councillor Hamilton did actually acknowledge that the director is doing some work already to bring back some efficiencies, and he did actually have a report before us, which we deferred, and it is coming back. In addition, I know there was a request of for an expansion of the Durham site, and I don't know where that stands either. So perhaps the director can clarify that. But I'm in favor of sort of not jumping the gun. I think it should come forward, but I think it should come forward as part of the 2021 budget item, because if not, we're kind of jumping the gun and potentially already committing resources now for work that will continue into 2021. I doubt that we'll have everything comprehensive within the next month or so. I suspect it'll take longer, particularly with the counter discussion. So if there's things that are going to move faster to deal with landfill per the province's announcements as well, then I would not want to duplicate that effort or waste our time and funds to do it now. So that's my position on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Townsend. Was your question that you wanted answered now by our Director of Infrastructure or Public Works, or when that comes around with his report?
If he has the answer now, fine. If not, I'd be willing to wait for the report.
Well, okay, Director Sherwinski, a very brief answer, because this will be included in your report.
Yes, just for clarification, the question was whether or not whether or not West Grey has made an effort to expand the Durham landfill, and I'm not aware of that. So I'd have to look back in the records and talk to my team to find that out.
Yes, and fair enough for that. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Townsend. Councillor Shea. Oh, your hand is down. So do I acknowledge you, Councillor Shea? Yes, I do. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My keyboard's kind of finicky. So I take that, there's some hesitancy to invest a lot in sort of redeveloping our landfill facilities, especially if there's an option to do something in partnership with the county. This initiative to do something in partnership with the county is very, very late breaking. With smart transit, there have been discussions about whether the county should take that over for years and years. If the county is going to get involved in a centralized waste management program, that might be a decade, it could be 2 decades away, we don't know, or it may not happen at all. This proposal seems to me to be not to develop a waste management master plan. This proposal seems to be to ask staff to investigate the feasibility of developing a waste management master plan. So we may decide at the end of staff coming back and saying, here's what a waste management master plan would cost, here's the amount of effort that's involved. We may say, no, we don't want to do that. But I think it would be very prudent of us to at least investigate the possibility. So I would really encourage us to support the initiative of asking staff to consider what a waste management master plan would look like, what it would cost, what it would address, would it incorporate strategies like partnering with the county. So this seems like, with the diminishing reserves and availability within our landfill sites, this seems like the minimum effort we should be making at this point. So I'll leave that with the rest of council to consider. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Councillor Hergert, then Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. A lot of good comments made here today. We all took office 2 years ago and knew that the landfills were a problem. And in this time, we have done nothing. And at this point, the province has changed the regulations and has just brought those regulations out. About 2 years ago, I sat in on the Working Economy Act, and the discussion was, let's wait for the regulations. And now we have them. So I think now is the perfect time to start working with our partners. I mean, that biodigester in Chatsworth has been there. We don't have a partnership with them. I don't know why. We all are on the same timeline under the province for the changing regulations. So this seems to me to be the exact moment when we have the new regulations and we all are being imposed the regulations upon us, that we take this opportunity to find efficiencies within Grey County, look at the resources we have, and make the plan. And I believe at the county level would be the best area to start this matter, as they do have staff in planning in other areas to make this happen. So I think, first off, I do appreciate Councillor Hamilton for bringing this forward. This has been an issue that has been before we even began as a council together. So it definitely needed to get on the agenda. And for that, I do thank Councillor Hamilton. At this time, with the late-breaking Meaford resolution and the late-breaking regulations from the province, I believe this is the time for the county to step up and take stock. And I would like them to figure out if there is a way we can work together. And if we see in 3 months, 6 months that there's no uptake, fine, let's look at this again. But as it is right now, I would not want to be duplicative in projects. We need to see where the province has given us direction and how we can best meet that. And I think working together in this situation with all the new regulations would be the best for the county to look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Councillor Townsend. And at this point, I'm also going to say, is there any other comments? Because I want to give Councillor Hamilton, the final comments before I call the vote. So Councillor Townsend, please.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
One point I failed to acknowledge in the motion. I don't have a problem with having staff look for efficiencies. In fact, I think the director's been doing that, and that
Yes.
was part of his report that he was doing. So from that perspective, I think that's already being done. I think the thing that really bothers me is the master plan terminology and the 25 to 30 years. I'd like anyone right now to tell us what it's going to be, given the province making changes and the county. I think the scope is too large and the distance is too far out, given what we have on the plate. And I should have made that comment at the end of my last ones. But I think it's important to have the right scope. And I don't disagree with moving forward. I just think doing a master plan is the wrong thing right now, given everything up in the air. Sorry, I just wanted to provide that clarification.
Fair enough, Councillor. Any other comments before I go to Councillor Hamilton? Councillor Hamilton, then, please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mayor Robinson, and I appreciate that we're all coming at this, like we all have the same objective, right? We want to provide good service for our community. We want to protect our future and protect our environment. And so I know we're all coming to the table with the same goals in mind, and know that this Meaford option, which I embrace, and I think we should have this dialogue at Grey County. I think it's welcome news. I do think these things should be happening simultaneously. I think if we sit back and wait, time is of the essence. And then regarding concerns for budget items, that is why I was looking for the staff report to come back with the information that council would need to make a fulsome decision about whether or not to do a master plan, to have that information come ahead of the budget. So once again, council, we're not deciding today to do the master plan. We're deciding, would we like staff to put some information together so that we could make that wholesome decision together as a council. And then just in terms of the scope of the master plan, looking at other master plans in surrounding communities, they do have that longer term vision, and they are responsive to changing of regulation. And as we know, regulation, it doesn't change overnight. It takes quite a while for those changes to come in. Even like our blue box changes, they're not coming in until 2023. They're not enforceable till 2026. And as Councillor Shea has mentioned, they do keep changing and seem to be watered down, becoming more watered down. And so any good master plan would be responsive to those changes, would be responsive to changes in regulation. And to have that forward vision of 25, 30 years is most important, because every good waste plan would have a really firm target of diversion that we would be seeking and steps to get there. So I think it would be bold. I think it fits well into our our climate change declaration, our commitment to our environment. I think we have the opportunity to lead here. And I think this is the time just to get that information that we need so we can revisit this discussion a month from now. Thank you, Mayor Robinson.
Thank you. I am calling for a recorded vote. So Clerk Sharbuck, could you please assist with that? And thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship, calling a recorded vote on this motion, moved by Councillor Hamilton and seconded by Councillor Shea. And just going through the list, Councillor Hamilton, how do you vote?
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hergert, how do you vote?
Councillor Hergert, no.
Councillor Hutchinson, how do you vote?
Councillor Hutchison, no.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, how do you vote?
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Mayor Robinson, how do you vote?
Mayor Christine Robinson, in favor.
Councillor Shay, how do you vote?
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Townsend, how do you vote?
Councillor Townsend, not in favor.
And that motion is carried.
Okay. Now we're moving on to Councillor Hergert's direct motion. And I'm wondering, Councillor Hergert, would you like to read? Oh, no, pardon me. I'm moving ahead of myself here. We do need to have a 2/3 vote on this motion. So at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to the clerk for the procedure, and then we'll address the motion, direct motion accordingly after the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson, through you. First off, council needs to consider a motion to allow a direct motion regarding, sorry, I lost mine, regarding county-wide waste management. So if there, that would be the motion, that council allow a direct motion at this time regarding county-wide waste management.
So I'm looking for a mover
Yes.
and a seconder. Councillor Hamilton, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Hamilton, I move the motion.
Councillor Hergert, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed indicate with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Robinson. I believe that my comments have actually already been fully discussed.
Excuse me, Councillor, I'm just calling the vote on the 2/3 vote.
Oh,
And then
pardon
we'll
me.
do-
Yes, yes. I
No
jumped right
worries.
in. Sorry. Okay, Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shay.
Councillor Shay, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison, in favor.
That motion did carry. Now, I will go to Councillor Hergert to read your direct motion. And I would ask that members of council take their check marks off at this point.
Mayor Robinson, may I defer to the clerk who maybe has it exactly?
I have it right here.
Absolutely, you can.
Thank
Clerk
you.
Sherbrooke, please. Sherbrooke.
Thank you, through your worship. Yes, I do have it right here at that we sorted out a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
So moved by Councillor Hergert. Whereas there are long-term sustainability issues related to the exporting of garbage out of the country, or sorry, out of the county or country, including the burning of gas required to truck garbage long distances. And whereas it may be more viable to make better use of local facilities, including the biodigester in the township of Chatsworth. And whereas in many parts of the province, the upper tier is responsible for waste collection and disposal. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby requests that the County of Grey consider the merits of delivering waste collection and disposal systems at the county level in accordance with the County of Grey Collaborative Decision-Making Framework, and that this motion be circulated to other lower tier municipalities in the County of Grey to request their support for this resolution.
Councillor Hergert, are you moving this motion?
Yes, I am.
Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Hamilton, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hamilton, yes, I second the motion.
Questions or comments? Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, Councillor Hutchison. Yeah, one of the reasons I'd be in favor of the county looking at this is the thing that really bothers me the most is when we see our waste management trucks driving all over West Grey, and I mean, they drive all over the county and all over the world, really, picking up garbage. And the thing that bothers me most is that not only them, but also local residents drive by a landfill, which is across the road from them, but they can't use it because it's in another municipality, and then they have to drive how many kilometers to put the garbage in a landfill. So that would be one thing that I would think as a county level would be nice to see, that we could share some of our landfills and prevent, talk about greenhouse gases and people driving all over. It makes sense to me, you'd use your closest landfill rather than having to drive just because it happens to be across the border. So that would be one thing that I would definitely think would be beneficial. I agree with the digester and some of the other things that when we can solve some of our own issues, but that's one that I think would be a big one to look at. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your comments. Further, members of council? On the motion, all those in favor, please signify with a check mark. Those opposed with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison in favor.
Motion carried. Thank you for clearing the dashboard. Now, Councillor Hamilton, you identified, I believe, 2 other notices of motion. Am I correct? And please take it away.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Robinson. I promise they're not nearly as long as the notice of motion. So one's regarding Waste Reduction Week and one's regarding grant opportunities for trees. Would you like me to read them or what's the next step?
I understand through the clerk, you've identified the topics, so they will be put forward on the next agenda. But Clerk Sharbuck, it's best if you explain it, please, and then I'll go back to Councillor Hamilton. Thank you. Just for clarity to make sure that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Your Worship. Just to clarify, Councillor Hamilton, that you would like the Waste Reduction Week as a direct motion to be dealt with right now? Or would you like them both as direct motions or as notices of motion?
Oh, thank you for the clarity. If I could have them both as direct motions as they're more timely, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
And through
Please
you,
go
Your
ahead,
Worship,
Clerk. Yes.
is it your wish, Councillor Hamilton, we do have to pass a motion to allow direct motions on the agenda with a 2/3 vote. So would you like to suggest a motion with both of these direct motions to allow
Yeah.
both of them at the same time?
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
So would be that council allow a direct motion regarding Waste Reduction Week and a direct motion regarding, sorry, what was the second one?
Trees.
Grants for trees.
Okay. And a direct motion regarding grants for trees.
Thank you.
And then that would, Your Worship, need a mover and seconder first, and
Thank
then
you. Perfect. So Councillor Hamilton, you are moving that motion.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Townsend, are you seconding that motion?
Councillor Townsend, yes, I'm seconding the motion.
Okay, Clerk Sharbuck, this is the 2/3
yes.
wait on this one. Okay. Any questions before I call the vote, members of council? All right, I'm calling the vote. All those in favor signify with a check mark. Opposed, X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shay, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Counselor Hutchison, in favor.
Motion carried. Now, if we clear our dashboard. Councillor Hamilton, on your first direct motion, please.
Thank you. Whereas Waste Reduction Week in Canada invites local governments, schools, businesses, and organizations to declare the third week of October as Waste Reduction Week in Canada, and West Grey made the declaration in 2019. Therefore, be it resolved that the Municipality of West Grey hereby declares Waste Reduction Week in Canada, October 19 to 25, 2020, and that staff be directed to complete the online proclamation certificate at Waste Reduction Week in Canada and promote on social media.
And Councillor Hamilton, you're moving that motion?
Please, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Hergert, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Any questions on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with a check mark. Those opposed signify with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson,
Counselor Hutchison, in favor.
Councillor Hamilton,
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson,
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, in favor.
Councillor Shay,
Councillor Shay, yes.
Councillor Hergert,
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend,
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
pardon me, Councillor Townsend,
Councillor Townsend, in favor.
motion carried. Thank you. If you can clear your dashboard, I appreciate it. Councillor Hamilton, your tree funding, a direct motion, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. Whereas Tree Canada has recently opened grants for municipalities with up to $3,500 for edible tree projects and up to $10,000 for tree planting, and applications are due November 30th, 2020. Therefore, be it resolved that staff investigate the Tree Canada grant opportunities and report back to council about the feasibility of applying for a tree planting project grant.
Thank you. And I do appreciate that you read that into the record. We will need for clarity having that. Clerk Sharbeck, do you need that reread? Yes, please. Councillor Hamilton, could I please indulge you to read your motion once again? As you know, the motion is getting typed right into eScribe, so that helps in the process of the rest of the minutes generation. So
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Again. Thank you.
Okay. Whereas Tree Canada has recently opened grants for municipalities with up to $3,500 for edible tree projects and up to $10,000 for
Hang on a
tree
sec.
planting.
One moment.
Yes.
I apologize. The clerk staff are just asking for additional support. Maybe Clerk Sharbeck, could you please assist with this portion of it for me? Okay. I know. There's no issue with it whatsoever. All right, so we are finished the first. Was it $35,000, Councillor Hamilton?
3,500.
3,500, clerk staff. I wonder, Clerk Sharbeck, are you okay to go on the mic? Thank you. I want to make sure the dollar figure is correct and all the descriptive language is correct, please.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton, this is what we have recorded so far. Whereas Tree Canada has recently opened grants for municipalities with up to $3,500 for edible projects and up to How much?
$10,000 for
$10,000 for,
tree planting,
okay,
and applications are due
an
November 30th.
application. November 30th. Okay,
Therefore, be it resolved
Yeah.
that staff investigate the Tree Canada grant opportunities
okay,
and report back to council
okay,
about the feasibility of applying for a tree planting project grant.
perfect. Got it. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. You are moving this motion?
Yes, please, Mayor Robinson.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Shea, are you seconding this motion?
Councillor Shea, I second the motion.
Yes. And is there any questions or comments, members of council? Seeing none? All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. And now to Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Councillor Hergert.
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Councillor Hamilton, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchison in favor.
This motion does carry. Is there any new business, members of council? Councillor Shea.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to introduce a notice of motion for our next meeting, and that is that I would like the clerk to institute a review of our procedural bylaw and to organize I don't know if I would call it a workshop or a training session with members of council so that we are all on the same page, understanding how our procedural bylaw affects our proceedings.
Thank you. That will appear on the next meeting. Now, I know our clerk has been working on the procedural bylaw review and also in training a session that would accompany that, that new procedural bylaw once approved by council. So thank you very much for bringing this forward as amplifying it, Councillor Shea. Is there any other new business? All right, seeing none, we are now moving on to item 18, addendums. Clerk Sharbeck, I'm not aware of any. Is that correct?
Your Worship, that's correct. No addendums.
Item 19, closed session, incomplete items only, NA. Item 20, matters arising from closed session, NA. Item 21, question period. Supervisor Hewlett, are you aware of any individual that wishes to partake in the question period?
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. Any members of the public wishing to participate in this comment period can do so in a number of ways. The first would be so by sending a chat message to myself through the Zoom meeting software. Secondly, they can do so by raising their hand, in which they will be unmuted to state their name and their question. To raise your hand, you can either click the raise your hand function located usually in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen if you've just using the online software. Alternatively, if you have joined us over the phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. At this time, Mayor Robinson, I'm not seeing anybody wishing.
Thank you. Item 22, Municipal Act notices. I see none, but I'm confirming with the clerk. Are there any, Clerk Sharbeck, on item 21, Municipal Act notices?
Through Your Worship, no notices at this time.
Thank you. Item 23, adjournment. Clerk Sharbeck, could you please read the motion?
Thank you, through you, Your Worship. The recommendation is that we do now adjourn at 10 p.m. to meet again on November 3rd, 2020 at 10 a.m. or at the call of the chair.
Thank you. Is there a mover for this motion? Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, are you moving this motion?
This is Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. I will move the motion.
Councillor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Counselor Hutchison seconds the motion.
All those in favor indicate with a check mark. Those opposed with an X mark. Mayor Christine Robinson, I am in favor of this motion. Councillor Hutchinson.
Counselor Hutchison in favor.
Councillor Hamilton.
Counselor Hamilton, yes.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson in favor.
Councillor Shea.
Councillor Shea, yes.
Councillor Hergert.
Counselor Hergert, yes.
Councillor Townsend.
Councillor Townsend in favor.
Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, members of council. This was a very productive meeting. There's been a variety of items that we are dealing with. And also I do appreciate your attention to all of the events that you've been taking part in. Thank you, one and all. This meeting is adjourned.